My name is Isabella Rodriguez, and I never imagined that one night shift at the hospital would change my life forever. It was a cold Tuesday in October in Chicago, and I was on my night shift as I had been for the past 5 years. The hospital was quieter than usual, with only a few patients in the emergency room and the constant hum of machines in the hallways. I liked working nights. It was quieter, and I could take better care of my patients without all the hustle and bustle of the day. Besides, the pay was a little better, and I needed every penny to take care of my mother who was sick at home. It was almost 2 in the morning when I heard the sound of tires screeching in the parking lot. Soon after, the emergency room door burst open and 3 men rushed in. 2 of them were carrying a child in their arms, and the third was shouting for help. "Please, my son, he's bleeding so much," shouted the tallest man. When I looked at him, I felt a chill. He was a man of about 40, tall with dark hair and eyes that seemed to see through people's souls. His clothes were expensive but stained with blood. There was something about him that told me he wasn't an ordinary person. But at that moment, none of that mattered. In the arms of the other men was a child of about 8 years old, with brown hair and a face as pale as paper. He was unconscious and had a nasty wound in his stomach. "Bring him here, quick!" I yelled, running to get a stretcher. The tall man followed me, holding the boy's hand. "Will he be all right? Please tell me he'll be all right." I could see the despair in his eyes. No matter who he was, at that moment he was just a terrified father afraid of losing his son. "I'll do everything I can," I replied as we took the child to the emergency room. The doctor on duty arrived quickly, but I could see he was nervous. Perhaps it was because of the men waiting outside, or perhaps it was because of the severity of the injury. The boy had lost a lot of blood. "Isabella, I need your help here," the doctor said. "This is a complicated case. For the next 3 hours we fought to save that child's life. I had never worked so hard in my entire career. I dressed wounds, assisted with the surgery, and stayed by the boy's side the whole time, checking his vital signs. The father stayed in the waiting room the whole time. I could see him through the window, pacing back and forth, his hands in his hair. The other 2 men tried to calm him down, but it was impossible. When we finally managed to stabilize the boy, I went to the waiting room to give him the news. "He's going to be okay," I said, and I saw the relief spread across the man's face. It was a close call, but we did it. "He'll need to stay in the hospital for a few days, but he'll make a full recovery." The man looked at me with tears in his eyes. "Thank you," he said, his voice breaking. "You saved my son. How can I thank you?" "No need to thank me. It's my job," I replied. "What's your name?" he asked. "Isabella Rodriguez." "Isabella," he repeated as if memorizing it. "My name is Marco Santangelo, and this is my son Luca. You just saved the most important thing in my life." In the following days, while Luca recovered, Marco came to visit him every day. He always brought flowers for the nurses and was polite to everyone. But I could sense that there was something different about him. The other hospital staff whispered when he passed by, and some seemed afraid. Luca was a sweet and intelligent child. Even when hurt, he smiled and made jokes. He told me that he liked to draw and that he wanted to be a doctor when he grew up, to help people like I had helped him. "You're like an angel," Luca said one day while I was changing his bandages. "Dad said you saved me." "Your dad is right," I replied, smiling. "But you're a very strong boy." That helped too. Marco always watched me when I was taking care of Luca. One day he called me over to talk in the hallway. "Isabella, can I ask you a personal question?" "Of course," I replied a little nervously. "Do you have a family? Children?" "I have my mother. She is ill, and I take care of her alone." Marco nodded thoughtfully. "You're a special person. Luca has become very attached to you. He lost his mother when he was a baby, and since then, I've never seen him connect with anyone like this." My heart ached. That child had been through so much suffering, and now had almost died too. "He's an amazing boy," she said. "I want to make you an offer," Marco continued. "When Luca is discharged from the hospital, I'd like you to come work for me as his private nurse. I can pay very well, much more than you earn here." I was surprised. "Work for you? Luca needs special care during his recovery, and he trusts you. Besides, you said you need to take care of your mother. With what I can afford, you could give her the best treatment. The offer was tempting. My mother really needed expensive treatments, and my hospital salary barely covered the basic expenses. Can I think about it? I asked. Of course, but know that it would be a great help to me and Luca. That night when I got home, I found my mother coughing badly. She was worse, and I knew she needed medication that I couldn't afford. Maybe this was the opportunity I'd been waiting for. But something inside me told me that accepting that offer would change my life in ways I couldn't yet imagine. Marco Santangelo was no ordinary man, and working for him would mean entering a world I didn't know. I looked out the window of my small apartment and saw the city lights. Somewhere out there, Luca was recovering, and Marco was waiting for my answer. I didn't know that decision would place me at the center of a war between powerful families, and that soon I would have to choose between love and loyalty, between saving a life and protecting my own heart. 3 days later, I made my decision. When I arrived at the hospital that morning, Marco was sitting beside Luca's bed, reading a book to him. The scene touched me deeply. That man who seemed so dangerous was just a loving father caring for his son. "Good morning," he said, entering the room. "Isabella," Luca shouted excitedly. "Dad was telling me the story of the pirate who found a treasure." "That's great. And how are you feeling today?" I asked, checking his bandages. "Much better. The doctor said I can go home tomorrow." Marco looked at me expectantly. I knew he was waiting for my answer about the job offer. "Can I talk to you outside?" I asked. We went out into the hallway, and I took a deep breath before speaking. "I accept your proposal," he said, "but I have some conditions." "I'm listening." "I want to be able to continue visiting my mother every day, and if she needs me urgently, I need to be able to go out." "Sure. What else?" "I want to know exactly what you expect from me. I'm a nurse, not a babysitter." Marco smiled for the first time since I met him. "Fair enough. You'll take care of Luca's health, give him his medication, and stay with him when I'm not home. Nothing more. And what about the payment?" He mentioned a figure that was 3 times higher than my salary at the hospital. I almost fell over backwards. "Seriously?" I asked, incredulous. "Absolutely. My son is worth much more than that to me." The next day, Luca was discharged. Marco came to pick him up in a huge black car with tinted windows. As we left the hospital, I noticed another identical car following us. "Why is there another car behind?" I asked. "Security," Marco replied simply. "Luca is my son. I need to protect him." Marco's house was in an affluent area of Chicago. When we arrived, I was impressed. It was a huge mansion with manicured gardens and a high fence surrounding it. There were men in suits at the entrance who greeted Marco respectfully. "Welcome to our home," said Marco, helping me out of the car. Inside, the house was even more impressive. Expensive furniture, antique paintings on the walls, and everything very clean and organized. An elderly lady came to greet us. "This is Maria," Marco introduced. "She's been taking care of the house for many years." "Maria, this is Isabella, Luca's nurse." "Nice to meet you, dear," said Maria with a warm smile. "How wonderful that Luca will have someone to take care of him." Marco showed me the whole house. Luca's room was the size of my entire apartment, full of toys and books. There was even a huge television on the wall. "Your room is right next door," said Marco, opening another door. "That way you can hear if Luca needs anything during the night." The room he gave me was beautiful, with a large bed, a comfortable armchair, and a window overlooking the garden. It was better than any hotel I had ever seen. "It's perfect," she said, still impressed. "I'm glad you liked it. Now, let me explain the routine." Marco told me that he worked a lot and sometimes traveled, but he always tried to be home to have dinner with Luca. He had meetings during the day, and sometimes people came to the house to talk to him. "When that happens, you and Luca should stay upstairs," she explained. "It's important that you don't come down until I tell you that everything is okay." "Why?" I asked, curious. Marco hesitated for a moment. "My job is complicated. Sometimes I discuss business matters that aren't appropriate for children to hear." I didn't fully understand, but I agreed. After all, each family had its own rules. In the first few days, everything went very well. Luca was recovering quickly, and we had a lot of fun together. He showed me his drawings, we played video games, and I helped him with the homework that his private tutor brought. "Isabella, can I ask you a question?" Luca said one day while I was changing his bandages. "Of course, dear. Are you going to stay here forever?" The question caught me off guard. "Why are you asking that?" "Because I like you very much. You're like a mother to me." My heart ached. That child had lost his mother so young, and now he was clinging to me. "I'll stay here as long as you need me," I replied, hugging him. "Promise?" I promised. But I didn't know that this promise would be tested in a way I could never have imagined. One night, about 2 weeks after I started working there, I woke up to loud voices coming from downstairs. I looked at the clock. It was 3 in the morning. I checked on Luca, who was fast asleep, and went to the window. There were several cars at the entrance, and the men were talking outside. They all seemed nervous and agitated. Suddenly I heard Marco yelling at someone. I had never heard him speak like that before. His voice was full of anger and threats. "Are you absolutely sure about that?" I heard him say. "Yes, boss. They're planning to attack the warehouse on Thursday." "Then we'll be ready for them." My blood ran cold. Attack? Warehouse? What kind of business was Marco really involved in? I went back to bed, but I couldn't sleep. For the first time since I'd arrived there, I began to wonder what kind of world I'd entered. The next morning, Marco seemed normal, having coffee with Luca and asking about his homework. But I could see something different in his eyes, a tension that hadn't been there before. "Isabella, I need to travel for a few days," he said. "Can you stay with Luca?" "Of course," I replied, trying to sound natural. "Great. And remember, if someone you don't know comes here, don't open the door. Maria knows who might come in." After he left, I asked Maria about Marco's work. "Honey," she said with a sad look, "some things are better left unknown. What matters is that he's a good father and you're helping to take care of a child who needs love." But I was already beginning to suspect that Marco Sant'Angelo wasn't just an ordinary businessman. And soon, I would discover that he had entered the dangerous world of the Chicago Mafia, where loyalty was everything and betrayal could cost you your life. 2 weeks had passed since Marco had traveled, and I was beginning to get used to the routine at the mansion. Luca was almost completely recovered, playing in the garden and returning to his normal activities. But I couldn't get that conversation I had overheard in the early hours of the morning out of my head. It was a Thursday afternoon when everything changed. I was helping Luca with his math homework in the study when Maria came running in, her face pale with worry. "Isabella, quick! Grab Luca and go upstairs to his room now!" "What's happening?" I asked, frightened. "There's no time to explain. Go, quickly." I grabbed Luca's hand and we ran upstairs. Through the bedroom window, I saw several cars arriving at the driveway. Men in suits got out quickly, and I recognized some I had seen before with Marco. "Isabella, why are we hiding?" Luca asked, confused. "Your father should be arriving soon with important guests," I lied, trying to keep him calm. But when I looked out the window again, I saw something that chilled me to the bone. 2 men were carrying another man who appeared to be injured. There was blood on their clothes. My heart raced. What kind of business was Marco running? We stayed in the room for almost 2 hours. Luca ended up falling asleep in my lap, tired of waiting. I kept looking out the window, watching men going in and out of the house, all with serious expressions. Finally, Mary came up to get us. "You can come down now," she said. "Mr. Marco has arrived and wants to speak with you." When we went downstairs, I found Marco in the living room, still wearing an expensive suit, but with a tired expression I had never seen before. He hugged Luca tightly, as if he hadn't seen him in months. "How are you, champ?" he asked, kissing his son's forehead. "Well, Dad." "Isabella took very good care of me." Marco looked at me over Luca's head. "Thank you," he said simply. But there was something in his eyes that told me he knew I had seen things I shouldn't have seen. That night, after Luca went to sleep, Marco called me into his office to talk. It was the first time I'd ever been in that room. The walls were covered in books. There was a huge, dark wood desk, and several photographs of Luca were scattered everywhere. "Take a seat," he said, pouring 2 glasses of wine. "I don't drink during work," I replied. "Today is not work. It's a conversation between friends." I picked up the glass, but I didn't drink. Marco sat down in the armchair opposite me. "You saw things today that left you confused," he said. There was no point in lying. "I saw. And what did you think?" "Maybe I don't really know who I'm working for." Marco laughed, but it wasn't a joyful laugh. "You're very clever, Isabella. That's both good and dangerous at the same time." "Marco, what kind of business do you do?" He remained silent for a long time, staring at a photo of Luca on the table. "My family has been in Chicago for 4 generations, he finally said. "My great-grandfather came from Italy with nothing and built an empire here. We can protect our territory and our businesses." "Protect us from what?" "From people who want to take what is ours, from families who don't respect the rules, from those who threaten our way of life." I was beginning to understand, and I didn't like what I was discovering. "You're in the Mafia," he said, more as a statement than a question. Marco looked me straight in the eyes. "I'm a businessman who sometimes needs to make difficult decisions to protect my family." "And does Luca know?" "Luca is a child. He knows that his dad works a lot, and that some people don't like our family. That's all." I got up from the armchair, feeling dizzy. "I need to think about this." "Isabella, wait." Marco also stood up. "I know this is a lot to process, but I want you to know one thing. You and Luca are completely safe here. I would never allow anything to happen to you." "How can I be sure of that?" "Because you are the most important people in my life right now. Luca loves you like a mother, and He hesitated. "I trust you more than I've trusted anyone in years." I felt something strange in my chest when he said that. Marco was a dangerous man, I already knew that. But he was also a devoted father and, from what I could see, an honest man within his complicated world. "I need time to think," I repeated. "Of course. But please, don't make any hasty decisions. Luca needs you." That night, I stayed up late, looking out my bedroom window. The house was silent, but I knew there were guards outside. For the first time, I realized I was living in a fortress, protected but also a prisoner. The next day, I tried to act normally with Luca, but he noticed that something was different. "Isabella, are you sad?" he asked while we were having lunch. "No, dear. I'm just thinking about a few things." "Is it about Dad?" The question surprised me. "Why are you asking that?" "Because sometimes people are afraid of Dad. But he's good, Isabella. He just wants to protect our family." I looked at that sweet, innocent child, and my heart broke. Luca was completely innocent. He just wanted a normal family with people who loved him. "I know your father is good," she said, hugging him. "And I'm not going anywhere, okay? Promise." "I promise." But even after making that promise, I didn't know that I would soon discover an even greater secret. A secret that would involve my own heart and place me at the center of a war between families that would last for generations. Because that very night, I would receive a connection that would change everything. A connection from someone I hadn't seen in months, but had never forgotten. Daniel O'Connor was back in town, and he wanted to see me. It was almost midnight when my cell phone rang. I was in my room trying to read a book to fall asleep when I saw the name on the screen that made my heart race. Daniel O'Connor. The man I had loved who had disappeared from my life 6 months ago without explanation, leaving only a note saying he needed to travel for work and would return when he could. "Hello?" I answered, my voice trembling. "Isabella, it's me, Daniel." Just hearing her voice brought back all the emotions I had tried to bury. Anger, longing, love, hurt, all mixed together. "Daniel, where were you?" I asked, trying to keep my voice low so as not to wake Luca. "It's a long story. Can I see you? I really need to talk to you. I don't know if it's a good idea. Please, Isabella. I know I have a lot to explain, but I need to see you. I've been in town for 2 days, and you're the first person I've called." My heart was beating so fast I was sure he could hear it through the phone. "Where do you want to meet me? Do you remember that coffee shop we used to go to? Murphy's, on Oak Street?" "I remember. Can you meet me there tomorrow at 2 in the afternoon?" I looked at the clock. Luca had a piano lesson at 3, so I would have time. "Okay, but Daniel, if you disappear again without explanation, I never want to see you again." "I'm not going to disappear, I promise." I hung up the phone, my hands trembling. Daniel was back. The man I had loved more than anything in life, who had made me dream of marriage and children, who had disappeared when I needed him most. That night, I could barely sleep. I kept thinking about what he was going to say to me, why he had disappeared, and especially what I felt for him now. The next morning, I tried to act normally with Luca, but he noticed I was different. "Isabella, are you nervous today?" he asked while we were having breakfast. "A little. I'm going to meet a friend I haven't seen in a long time." "Is he a boyfriend?" she asked, with that direct way that children have. The question caught me off guard. It was. I don't know if it still is. "Dad said you're very beautiful and that any man would be lucky to date you." I felt my face heat up. Had Marco said that? "Did your father really say that?" "He said yes. He also said that you are the bravest person he knows." I didn't know what to answer. In recent months, I had developed mixed feelings for Marco. He was dangerous, I knew that, but he was also kind to me, protective, and a wonderful father. Sometimes, when he came home and the three of us had dinner together, I felt like we were a real family. But now Daniel was back, and everything was confusing again. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I arrived at Murphy's Cafe. It was a small, cozy place, with wooden tables and the smell of fresh coffee in the air. Daniel was already there, sitting at a table in the back, and when he saw me, he stood up with a smile that usually melted my heart. He was different, thinner, with slightly longer hair, and there was something in his eyes that hadn't been there before, a seriousness that frightened me. "Isabella," he said, hugging me, "you look beautiful." "Daniel." I returned the hug, but quickly pulled away. "You have a lot to explain." We sat down at the table and he ordered coffee for both of us. We remained silent for a few minutes, just looking at each other. "Where were you?" I finally asked. Daniel took a deep breath. "Working, but I can't tell you exactly where or what I'm doing." "What do you mean you can't tell me?" "My job is complicated. It involves national security." "National security? Daniel, you worked for an insurance company." "No, Isabella. That was my cover. I work for the FBI." I felt like the ground had disappeared from beneath my feet. "What?" "I'm a federal agent. I was on an undercover mission and I couldn't tell anyone, not even you. It was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life." "Did you lie to me the entire time we were dating?" "I didn't lie about my feelings. Everything I felt for you was real. But yes, I lied about my job." I got up from the table, feeling betrayed. "I can't believe this." "Isabella, wait. Let me explain everything." "Explain what? That our entire relationship was based on a lie?" "It wasn't a lie. I love you, Isabella. I've always loved you. That's why I'm here." "Do you love me?" She laughed. But it wasn't a joyful laugh. "If you loved me, you wouldn't have disappeared without explanation." "I had no choice. The mission was dangerous, and if anyone found out about you, your life would be in danger." I sat down again, trying to process everything. "What kind of mission?" Daniel looked around, checking to see if anyone was listening. "I'm investigating Italian Mafia activities in Chicago, specifically the Santangelo family." My blood ran cold. "What? Marco Santangelo is one of the most dangerous bosses in the city. We've been trying to gather evidence against him for years." I felt like I was going to throw up. Daniel was investigating Marco. The man I loved was investigating the man I worked for, the father of the child I cared for, as if it were my own. "Isabella, are you all right? You've turned pale." "I need to leave." "Wait. I want you to know that I'm back because the mission is over. Now I can have a normal life, and I want to have that life with you. I want to marry you, Isabella." I got up from the table again, this time determined to leave. "It's too late, Daniel." "Why? Is there another man?" I stopped at the cafe door and turned to him. "There's an 8-year-old child who calls me Mom, and who would lose the only maternal figure he knows if I left. There's a man who trusts me to take care of the most important thing in his life, and there's a promise I made that I intend to keep. Isabella, you don't understand. These people are dangerous, and you don't understand that these people have become my family." I left the cafe with tears in my eyes, leaving Daniel behind, but I knew that wouldn't be the end of the story. Daniel was back, and now I was in the middle of an impossible situation. I loved a man who was investigating another man whom I was also beginning to love. And at the center of it all was Luca, an innocent child who just wanted to have a family. How could I choose between the love of my past and the family I had found in the present? And what would happen when Marco discovered who Daniel really was? I returned to the mansion completely shaken. My head was spinning with everything Daniel had told me. He was an FBI agent, he was investigating Marco, and he wanted to marry me. How had my life become so complicated? When I got home, I found Luca in the living room, playing with his toy cars. "Isabella, you're back. How was the meeting with your friend?" I forced a smile. "That was interesting. Is he still your boyfriend?" "I don't know, darling. It's complicated." Luca came up to me and hugged me. "If he made you cry, then he's not good for you." I looked at him surprised. "How do you know I cried?" "Your eyes are red. Dad always says that when someone makes you cry, it's because they don't deserve you." That child was smarter than I had imagined. I hugged him tightly, feeling my heart clench. How could I betray his and Marco's trust? That night, Marco arrived home earlier than usual. During dinner, he noticed that I was quiet. "Are you all right, Isabella? You seem worried." "I'm fine," I lied. After Luca went to sleep, Marco called me to talk in the garden. It was a warm summer night, and the air was perfumed by the flowers that Maria cared for so lovingly. "You lied to me at dinner," he said, sitting down on the bench next to me. "How do you know?" "I've known you for months. I know when something is bothering you." I remained silent, gazing at the stars. How could I tell him about Daniel? "Isabella, you can trust me. If there's something worrying you, I want to help. What if it was something that could hurt you?" Mark looked at me seriously. "I'd rather know the truth, even if it hurts, than live a lie." I took a deep breath. Maybe it would be better to tell everything now, before the situation got even more complicated. Today I ran into someone from my past, a man I used to date before I came to work here. And he disappeared from my life 6 months ago, without explanation. Today he came back and told me why. Marco tensed up. "Continue." "He works for the FBI. He was on an undercover mission." I saw Marco's face harden. "What kind of mission?" My heart was pounding so hard I was sure he could hear it. "He's investigating you." The silence that followed was deafening. Marco stood up from the bench and walked a few steps, his hands in his pockets. "What's his name?" she asked, in a voice I'd never heard before, cold and dangerous. "Marco, what's his name, Isabella?" "Daniel O'Connor." Marco closed his eyes and shook his head. "O'Connor, Irish family. They've been our enemies for generations." "Enemies?" "The O'Connor family controls the north side of town. We control the south. For decades we've tried to maintain peace, but there are always tensions." I felt my world crumble. Daniel wasn't just an FBI agent. He was a member of a rival family. "Isabella, do you understand what this means? That I'm in the middle of a war I didn't even know existed." Marco went back to the bench and sat down next to me. What did he want? He said he loves me, that he wants to marry me. "And you? Do you still love him?" The question caught me off guard. Did I love Daniel, or had it just been nostalgia? "I don't know," I replied honestly. "I thought I loved her, but now everything has changed." "How did it change?" I looked at Marco, at the man who had become so important in my life, because now I have a family here. I have Luca, who calls me Mom. I have you, who... What? Which has become very important to me. Marco looked me in the eyes, and for a moment I felt as if the whole world had stopped. "Isabella, I need to tell you something too." "What?" "In the last few months, you've become much more than just Luca's nurse to me. You've become essential." My heart raced. "Marco, I know my world is dangerous. I know I'm not the kind of man a woman like you should love, but I can't imagine my life, or Luca's life, without you." Before I could answer, he continued, "But now with this situation, you're in danger. If the O'Connor family finds out you work for me, or if my enemies find out about your feelings for Daniel, what are you saying?" "I'm saying that maybe it would be better for you to leave, for your own safety." "No!" The words slipped out of my mouth before I could think. "I'm not going to abandon Luca, and I'm not going to abandon you. Isabella, Marco, I choose to stay. I choose this family. I choose you. He looked at me with a mixture of relief and concern. Are you sure? Absolute. Marco approached me, and for a moment I thought he was going to kiss me. But then we heard footsteps coming from the house. Boss, said one of Marco's men, appearing in the garden doorway. Sorry to interrupt, but we have a problem. Marco sighed. What was that? The O'Connors are making moves. Our sources say they're planning something big. I felt a chill. Could it be a coincidence that Daniel had returned just now? I'll take care of it, Marco said, standing up. Isabella, go inside. And don't leave the house for the next few days. Why? Because now that I know about Daniel, I'm sure he didn't come back just for love. He came back because something is about to happen, and I'm not going to let you or Luca get hurt. That night, I stayed awake thinking about everything that had happened. I had chosen Marco and Luca, but Daniel wouldn't give up easily. And now I knew I was at the center of a conflict that was much bigger than I had imagined. The next day, Daniel called several times, but I didn't answer. He sent messages saying he needed to see me urgently, that there were important things he had to tell me. But I had made my choice, or at least I thought I had, because 3 days later, something would happen that would change everything again. Something that would force me to question everything I thought I knew about loyalty, love, and family. 3 days had passed since my conversation with Marco in the garden. The house was more tense than usual. There were more guards at the entrance, and Marco went out less. He spent hours in his office, making calls and receiving visits from men who spoke in hushed voices. Luca sensed the tension as well. He clung to me more closely, and sometimes I caught him looking out the window with a worried expression that an 8-year-old shouldn't have. Isabella, why are there so many men in our house? He asked on Thursday while we were having lunch. Your father is taking care of important business, I replied, trying to sound calm. Is it because of bad men? The question surprised me. What bad men? Those who want to hurt our family. Dad told me that there are people who don't like us. My heart tightened. Marco was preparing Luca for something, and that scared me. That afternoon, while Luca was taking a nap, I decided to clean Marco's office. He had left for a meeting and said he would be back late. While I was organizing the papers on his desk, an envelope fell to the floor. When I bent down to pick it up, I saw that it was open and some photographs had been scattered. When I looked at them, my blood ran cold. These were photos of Daniel. Daniel entering buildings, Daniel talking to other people, Daniel entering the cafe where we met 3 days ago. But what shocked me the most was the last photo. Daniel kissing a blonde woman at the door of an apartment. The photo was dated 2 days ago. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. Daniel was lying to me again. He'd said he loved me, that he wanted to marry me, but he was with another woman. Did you find anything interesting? I turned around quickly and saw Marco in the doorway of the office. He didn't seem angry, just tired. I was cleaning and the photos fell, I stammered, still holding the photographs. Marco entered the office and closed the door behind him. You can look. You have the right to know. I looked at the photos again, trying to understand. Did you send someone to follow Daniel? Ever since the day you told me about him, I need to protect my family, Isabella. And this woman. Marco approached and picked up the photo of Daniel kissing the blonde. Agent Sarah Mitchell, also from the FBI. They've been partners for 2 years. And from what my men have discovered, they're also more than partners. I felt tears burning my eyes. He lied to me again. Isabella. Marco approached and placed his hand on my shoulder. I'm sorry. Why would he do that? Why would he come back looking for me if he has someone else? Because you are important to his mission. Like this? Marco hesitated as if he didn't want to tell me something. Isabella, sit down. I sat in the armchair opposite his desk, still holding the photos. My men have discovered more things about Daniel O'Connor. He didn't return to Chicago out of love. He returned because the FBI is planning a major operation against my family. What type of operation? They want to arrest me. And to do that, they need evidence that only someone inside my house could obtain. I felt my stomach churn. Are you saying that? I'm telling you that Daniel came back to use you, Isabella. He wants you to be his informant. No, I whispered. He wouldn't do that. Are you sure? I looked at the photos again. Daniel lying, Daniel with another woman, Daniel contacting me right after returning to the city. Everything was starting to make sense in a horrible way. He's going to try to convince you to give him information about me, about my routine, about the people who come here, Marco continued. And he'll probably use the feelings you had for him to manipulate you. But I already told him that I chose to stay here. And you think he's going to accept that easily? At that moment, my cell phone rang. It was Daniel. Marco and I looked at each other. "Answer it," he said, "but put it on speakerphone." With trembling hands, I answered the call. "Isabella? Thank God, I've been trying to talk to you for days." "Hi, Daniel. I need to see you urgently. It's about your safety." "My safety?" "Yes. I've discovered things about Marco Santangelo that you need to know. He's much more dangerous than you imagine." I looked at Marco, who was listening to everything with a serious expression. "What kind of things?" I asked. "I can't talk on the phone. Can you meet me tonight? At the same cafe as before?" "Daniel, I already told you that." "Isabella, please. Your life may be in danger, and the child's life too." My blood ran cold when he mentioned Luca. "What do you mean?" "Meet me at 8 o'clock tonight. I'll tell you everything." The connection was terminated. Marco and I remained silent for a few minutes. "He's trying to scare you so you'll go meet him," Marco finally said. "What if he's telling the truth? What if Luca really is in danger?" "Luca is in danger, but not because of me. He's in danger because a war is starting, and Daniel O'Connor is part of it." "What do you mean?" Marco stood up and went to the window. "Isabella, there are things about this situation that you still don't know. Things about the O'Connor family, about Daniel, and about why they really want to destroy me. So tell me." He turned to me, and I saw something in his eyes that I had never seen before. Fear. "Luca's mother didn't die of natural causes, Isabella. She was murdered, and the one who ordered her death was Daniel O'Connor's father." I felt the world spinning around me. "What? Now you understand why this war is personal? Why I can't trust any member of that family? And why you're at the center of all this?" I looked at the photos of Daniel on the table, at the man I had loved and who I now discovered was the son of Luca's mother's murderer. "What do I do now?" I asked, my voice breaking. "You're going to meet him tonight," Marco said. "But you won't be alone." At 8 o'clock in the evening, I was sitting in Murphy's cafe, my heart pounding so hard it felt like it was going to burst out of my chest. Marco had insisted that 2 of his men stay nearby, hidden for my protection. I knew they were there, but I couldn't see them. Daniel arrived on time, but this time he seemed different, more serious, more determined. When he sat down in front of me, I noticed he was nervous too. "Isabella, thank you for coming. Just say what you have to say, Daniel. I don't have much time." He seemed surprised by my coldness. "You're different." "I'm smarter now." Daniel took a deep breath. "Isabella, I know you're living at Marco Santangelo's house, taking care of his son. So what? You don't understand the danger you're in. Marco is a murderer, Isabella. He's killed dozens of people. And now you and this child are living with a monster. And you? What kind of person are you, Daniel?" The question caught him off guard. "What do you mean?" "You lied to me the entire time we were dating. You disappeared without explanation. You came back saying you love me, but you're with another woman. And now you want me to believe you care about my safety." Daniel turned pale. "How do you know about Sarah?" "It doesn't matter how I know. What matters is that you're lying to me again." "Isabella, my relationship with Sarah is purely professional." "Don't lie to me," I yelled, causing some people in the cafe to look at us. "I saw the photos, Daniel. I saw you two kissing." Daniel closed his eyes and shook his head. "Okay, you're right. Sarah and we have a relationship, but that doesn't change how I feel about you." "Nothing changes? Are you kidding me?" "Isabella, listen. Yes, I'm in a relationship with Sarah, but when I saw you again, I realized I never stopped loving you. I can break up with her. We can start over. After you get what you want from me, right?" Daniel remained silent for a long moment. "What do you mean?" "I want to say that I know why you really came back. It wasn't out of love. It was because you need an informant inside Marco's house." "Who told you that?" "It doesn't matter who told it." "Is it true?" Daniel looked around nervously. Isabella, it's more complicated than you think. Then explain it to me. Okay. Yes, the FBI wants information about Marco Santangelo. And yes, I thought you could help, but that's not all. So what is it? Daniel leaned across the table, speaking softly. Isabella, do you know how Luca's mother died? My heart raced. I know. Do you really know? Do you know that she was murdered on my father's orders? I know that too. Daniel seemed shocked. Did Marco tell you? He told me. And now I understand why you are enemies. No, Isabella, you don't understand anything. Daniel took my hand on the table. My father ordered Elena Santangelo's death because she was pregnant with another man's child. She was cheating on Marco. I felt like I'd been slapped. What? Elena was having an affair with my older brother, Patrick. When my father found out, he was furious. He thought it could cause a war between the families, so he had her killed. You're lying. I'm not, and there's more. Luca may not be Marco's son. The world stopped around me. This is impossible. Isabella, why do you think Marco is so protective of Luca? Why has he never done a DNA test? Because he's afraid to find out the truth. I got up from the table, feeling dizzy. I don't believe you. Isabella, wait. I'm telling you this because you need to know. Marco isn't the man you think he is. What if he finds out that Luca isn't his son? What are you implying? Luca's life may be in danger. Marco has killed for less before. You're crazy. Marco loves Luca more than anything in the world. He loves the son he thinks is his. But what if he discovers it's the enemy's son? I felt tears welling up in my eyes. Why are you telling me this? Because I want you and Luca to get out of there. Come with me. I can protect you both. And in return? In return, you'll help me gather evidence against Marco. I looked at Daniel, at the man I had loved, and I clearly saw who he really was. A manipulator who was using my feelings and my love for Luca to get what he wanted. No, he said firmly. Isabella, I said no, Daniel. I'm not going to betray Marco. I'm not going to abandon Luca, and I'm not going to help you. You're making a mistake. The only mistake I ever made was believing in you. I got up from the table and started to leave, but Daniel followed me. Isabella, if you don't help me, I'll have to get the evidence another way. I stopped and turned to him. What does this mean? It means I'm going to do my job with or without your help. And if Marco is arrested, what will happen to Luca? Are you threatening me? I'm warning you. You have 24 hours to change your mind. I left the cafe with tears in my eyes, but also with absolute certainty. I had chosen my family, and there was no going back. When I got home, I found Marco waiting for me in the living room. Luca was already asleep. How was it? He asked. I told him everything Daniel had said, including the accusations about Elena and about Luca's paternity. Marco remained silent for a long time. Isabella, there's something I need to tell you. My heart raced. What? Daniel is right about one thing. Elena was having an affair. I felt the ground disappear beneath my feet. Marco? But he's wrong about something else. Luca is my son. I had a DNA test done years ago. Elena told me about the affair before she died, and she asked for my forgiveness. Then why did Daniel's father kill her? Because Patrick O'Connor was obsessed with her. When Elena ended the affair and came back to me, he wouldn't accept it. He threatened to tell me everything if she didn't run away with him. And her? She told me everything. She said she had made a mistake, but that she loved me and wanted our family. I forgave her. But then, Daniel's father killed her because she refused to leave the family. He thought that if Elena died, I would blame Patrick and start a war that would destroy both sides. And did it work? Almost. But I discovered the truth, and since then, I've been waiting for the right moment to seek justice. I looked at Marco, at that man who had lost his wife, who was raising his son alone, who had taken me into his family. What's going to happen now? I asked. Now you're going to go upstairs, pack your bags and Luca's, and you're going to leave town tonight. What? No! Isabella, Daniel isn't going to give up, and if he can't convince you, he'll try to get Luca. Then let's fight together. Marco looked at me with a mixture of love and sadness. I can't let you get hurt because of me. Marco, I love you. The words came out of my mouth before I could think. Marco looked at me in surprise. You love me? I love you. I love you and I love Luca. You are my family now. Marco came closer to me and kissed me. It was a kiss full of love, promises, and hope. I love you too, Isabella. More than I ever imagined it was possible to love someone again. Then don't send me away. I can't protect you if you stay, and it can't protect us if we're far away either. At that moment, we heard a noise outside. Marco immediately became alert. Stay here, he said, taking a gun from a drawer. But before he could reach the door, it was flung open. Daniel entered, accompanied by several FBI agents, all armed. Marco Santangelo, you're under arrest, said Daniel, pointing the gun at Marco. Dad, Luca shouted, running down the stairs. He had woken up from the noise. Luca, go back to your room, I yelled, but he ran to Marco and clung to his legs. Don't take my daddy, Luca cried. Daniel looked at the child, and for a moment I saw something like remorse in his eyes. Isabella, take the boy and come with me, said Daniel. You're safe now. I'm not going anywhere with you. Isabella, don't make this harder than it needs to be. She's already made her choice, said Marco, his hands raised but shielding Luca behind him. Her choice was based on lies. The only lies here came from you, I replied. At that moment, one of the officers approached Marco with handcuffs. But before he could reach him, Luca broke free from Marco and ran towards me. Isabella, don't let them take my daddy, please! I picked Luca up in my arms, feeling my heart break. I looked at Marco, who was being handcuffed, and then at Daniel. You got what you wanted, he said to Daniel. I hope you're happy. Isabella, you'll understand one day that I did this to protect you. No, you did this to get revenge, and you used my love for this family to achieve it. As they were taking Marco away, he looked at me one last time. Take care of Luca, he said. And remember, I love you. I love you too, I replied, tears streaming down my face. After everyone left, I was alone with Luca, who was crying in my lap. Isabella, are they going to release my daddy? I looked at that innocent child, who had lost her mother and was now losing her father as well. We're going to fight to bring him back, I promised. I'm not giving up on our family. And at that moment, I made a decision. I had chosen Marco and Luca, and no matter what happened, I wasn't going to abandon them. Because sometimes, true love means fighting the whole world to protect the one you love. And I was ready for that fight. 3 months later, with the help of the best lawyers and evidence proving Marco's innocence in several crimes, we secured his freedom. Daniel had fabricated some of the evidence, and when that was discovered, the whole case fell apart. The day Marco got out of prison, Luca and I were waiting for him. When he saw me, he ran and hugged me like he hadn't seen me in years. You stayed, he said, surprised. I promised I wouldn't abandon our family. Our family? Yes, if you still want me. Marco kissed me right there in front of everyone and then picked Luca up. Of course I want to. Forever. 6 months later, Marco and I got married in a small ceremony with only the most important people in our lives. Luca was our page boy, and when the priest asked if I accepted Marco as my husband, Luca shouted, "She does," before I could answer. Everyone laughed, and I knew I had found my true family. Daniel never tried to contact us again. We learned that he was transferred to another city and married Sarah. Sometimes when I look back, I think about how my life changed that night in the hospital when I saved Luca. I thought I was saving his life, but in reality, he and Marco saved mine, because they taught me that family isn't just about blood. It's about choice, loyalty, and unconditional love, and I chose them forever.